Good evening, and welcome to tonight's sleepy edition of Drafting Motherhood. Why am I sleepy, do you ask? Well, I have a 4 and a 2-year-old. Do I need to expand? Just kidding. I will. They're currently in their really chatty phase. And it's specifically at night as I'm putting them to bed. It's like they get way smarter. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like there's not as many distractions from the day and they can actually slow down and think. I don't know. I could have done research on it, but I'm going to be honest, I was tired, so I didn't. We'll do that next time, I guess. Um but yeah, dude, they're just getting so smart and they just love to talk. And I can't blame them. I mean, they get it honestly. Their mama likes to yap so much she bought a microphone, all right? I can't blame them. I like whenever they chat with me. I just didn't necessarily see myself, when I pictured motherhood, as laying in a toddler's bed for 2.5 hours, negotiating when I'm allowed to leave and when I'm not. I don't know. There's a lot of things I didn't picture that I would do as a mom. You know, my arrogant ass at one point thought, not that I would be the perfect mom, but oh my god, I'm gonna be such a good mom. I'm never gonna do that. I would never do this. Okay. And I really thought, I don't know, because I had a degree in child development and I had spent the better part of a decade working with children, caring for children in some capacity, that I was like, yeah, no, I know what I'm talking about. What I didn't account for was this, the sleep deprivation and the small amount of fucks that you already give quickly diminish when you are tired. So, in honor of this, I have compiled a list of things that I swore I would never do until I actually became a mom. So, number one, ooh, this one, it still kind of hurts. So, making separate meals for my kids. I really did not think I was ever going to do this. My mamaw, she was the woman that you would come into the house and she would say, can Memo get you something to eat? Do you want a hot dog? You want chicken nuggets? And the adults are making something else. And my dad was always like, no, they're going to eat whatever you give them. You don't have to make them anything separate. And to be honest, I was like that for a while too. The kids just ate what we would eat. But I don't know if you guys have gone through this phase. There's a phase in toddlerhood where they live purely on Cheerios and spite. They're just angry all the time. I don't know how they're alive, truly. And at one point when we went to the doctor, I was like, "Hey, they're not really eating. Um, I'm a little concerned." She said they'll eat when they're hungry. I know it's true, but it still somehow didn't help all that much. So that's when I started "Hey, if you will eat anything, I'll take it at this point. You want hot dogs? 3 meals a day? Sure. You want a popsicle at 8 a.m.? Oh, just eat something, I guess." That one, it still hurts me a little bit. This one also hurts me, unfortunately. Tablets. Hold on, before you get mad. I really do loathe the idea of putting a screen in front of my child's face. The TV, okay, yeah, we have TV time, we watch movies. I can also get the dishes done while they're watching a movie. I'm not against it. But tablets, I know what that's doing to their little brain whenever they're watching it and playing on it for too long. So, we got a workaround. We got a tablet for when we travel. And so they think that it only works on the airplane. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it's lasted up until now. But yeah, we keep them up in the top of my daughter's closet. She just saw it the other day and she was like, "Hey, does that work? Can we charge it?" And I was like, we can't. It only charges at the airport." And she was like, or if we're going to the airport. And she was like, "Oh, okay." Didn't ask another thing about it. So, I mean, I I recommend it when we're traveling. The days that we're at the airport, they're screen maxing whole day. I know their little brains are gonna be mush at the end of this travel day, but it's for our sanity, it's for the fellow travelers' sanity. I'm okay with being not my favorite version of, my personal parenting, but I gotta do what I gotta do for one day. I think they'll be okay. This one, I thought about whenever I thought about becoming a stay-at-home mom, when people would say, "Sleep when the baby sleeps." Well, my thought was, "Okay, but that's when I can, like, get stuff done. That's when I can clean and do laundry or maybe, like, take a shower, whatever I needed to do. Why would I waste time on sleeping?" And now I know that if I end up napping just as hard as they do right next to them, that that's just my body's way of being like, "Hey, you need this, girl. You deserve it. Take a little nap." Sometimes I think about whenever I was a kid and I used to, like, repulse taking naps. Oh my god. You sweet baby, you don't know how good you had it. You can just nap all day, eat snacks whenever you want to. It's a pretty good life. Ooh, this one. This one is funny to me because why I thought that we were going to be this, like, happy family 24/7, like you see on Instagram, these families going on vacation, and they have this just, like, picture perfect, their kids look so happy, their marriage looks great, and you're like, "Oh my god, I would love to go to Bali with my kids." And then you get on an airplane with them for over 4 hours. You get in a car with them for 8 hours. I don't know, personally, it changed the way I saw vacationing, at least for right now. When they get older, it'll change. But for right now, going on vacation without my children has honestly made some of the best memories that I have to date. I took a girls' trip and we stayed at the Stanley Hotel and we went to like the Princeton Hot Springs and we took a train ride on the Royal Gorge. Oh my God. It was beautiful. One of my favorite trips. Just recently, I just went to Austin with one of my girlfriends. My God, that was an amazing experience. Never been to Texas. It was pretty cool. But specifically Austin. Austin was dope. One time, I drove in just a few days, 20 hours by myself from Colorado to South Dakota. That 10-hour trip, that first way, oh my God, it was freedom like I'd never known before. It was right before I got pregnant with my youngest. Yeah, so I just had my oldest daughter, and one of my best friends was getting married. So I'm like, heck yeah, I'm gonna drive up there. I thought about taking an airplane, but I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna drive. Let's do it. I got to eat whatever stinky snacks I wanted. I got to listen to whatever music I wanted. I got to listen to audiobooks. I called people. By the way, Nebraska, if I have any listeners in Nebraska, just know I I saw a good portion of your state, I feel, through Colorado or from Colorado to South Dakota. Are y'all okay? There's so much corn out there and cows and nothing. I'm sure there's beautiful parts. You guys point me in those directions because I saw a lot of corn. We need it. I get it. But it's not my first destination. This one we've all experienced in a store when a kid is absolutely throwing a fit and mom is like, I don't know, you see different variations of mom. Mom could be trying to calm them down. Mom could be ignoring it completely and continuing to shop. She could be flustered, but I don't know, I guess I never thought that I would be the mom to just straight up leave my stuff. I thought at the least, like, "No, I'm gonna finish shopping, that's crazy." But no, the one and only time that it happened was I mean, life was kinda going crazy at that point too, but the girls were 3 and 1, so it wasn't that long ago. Well, like, maybe a good year ago. But they were just absolutely losing their minds over everything, and I know I felt really bad for, like, the employee that had to put my stuff back, but it was so bad, like, people were looking, and typically, I'm like, just keep parenting the way I need to parent, but in that moment, I feel like they were trying to communicate the best way they knew how in that moment to be like, "I do not wanna be here. I want to leave." And I know that this could be controversial, and yes, if it became a habit, like, yeah, then it's something that needs to be addressed. But it was the first time they had ever done anything like that. And they were both so, like, just inconsolable. Nothing was working. And I'm like, okay, yep, heard, we're leaving. And so I was not happy about it. Don't get me wrong. But then later that night, whenever we got home, we actually, like, had a talk about it, and I know that sounds crazy, like, you sat your 1 and 3-year-old down and talked to them about it, but yeah, we did, like, that behavior, nutso, dude. We can't do that again. No, but we, like, said it in a gentler way and told him things that they could do instead, and I'm gonna be honest, it's never happened again, but that was one that I was not it was not a proud moment, it was just one I did not think was gonna happen, and I'm genuinely worried for the day that one of them is going to lay on the floor and kick and scream, and I'm gonna be honest, I think it's gonna be my youngest. I think it is. I think my older one I think she'd be too embarrassed. I do. And I mean that in a good way. Good. Be embarrassed by that kind of behavior. That's crazy. My younger one, no shit's given. I think it's probably gonna be her. Oh, here's one. Controlling the music. I always thought we were gonna be those parents that just played whatever music we wanted to listen to because that's what we like. And so they're gonna have good taste in music. And don't get me wrong, like we still put our playlist on sometimes during dinner or whenever they get to ride in daddy's truck. For some reason, he's been playing like house music and electronic music for them since they've been infants, so they really enjoy that. Um, but they also like stuff from, like, the '70s too, which is, I don't know, more my jam. Um, but anyways, yeah, now we don't listen to that a ton. It's mainly just whatever they wanna listen to. I mean, I have a whole playlist for them. Don't get me wrong, but I don't wanna listen to it every single time we're in the car. And the problem is, I do love Disney, and so I know most of the songs, and I know all of the movies and all those things, but, like, no, I don't wanna listen to Frozen, the Broadway specifically, the live Broadway production. That's the one that they love. Um, I've listened to that I don't know how many times, and it's good. It slaps. But sometimes I just don't wanna listen to it. I just wanna listen to my own stuff. But here we are, taking it on the chin, because 'cause they're not always gonna like this kinda music, and soon they're gonna like weird stuff that I'm gonna have to pretend to enjoy. At least right now, I do know all of the words to these Disney songs. Not super proud of that either, but, like, it is what it is, you know? Alright, the next one on the list is lie to my kids. Now, before you go get too mad, I'm not talking about anything big, all right? I'm just talking about little lies. Like, yes, this soda is super spicy. You're not gonna like that, babe. Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, yeah, the park, yeah, that's closed today. Why? It's, yeah, it's 20 degrees outside. What do you mean? But to them, they don't care. If there's no snow, they're like, "Can we go to the park?" The other day, it was, like, 100 degrees, and they're like, "Please, can we go to the park?" You're gonna hate it. You can't sit on anything. You can't go down the slides. You can't sit on the swings. It's miserable for everybody. So, yeah, a little lie here and there to tell him that the park is closed, I'm not against it. I was on the phone one time with a friend, and I was telling him that, and they were like, "Yeah, did you know that today is International Maintenance on Playgrounds Day?" And they were like, "Huh?" And they're like, yeah, because they're 4 and 2, and they don't know what international and maintenance and all that is. But they understood that it is known that the park is closed today. So yeah, for as long as I can keep that going on the really hot or the really cold days, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Another one is bribing my kids. That one, I am gonna be honest, I really didn't think I was gonna do that. I was like, "No, we don't use food as a tool that's, like, a rewarding behavior," and I still feel kinda iffy on it, but I don't abuse it. I use it in times of need. It's like the bat signal. When we're going into a store, I turn the bat signal on and I'm like, "Listen, if you guys behave, you not only get a cake pop," and they're like dogs. They just heard walk, they're both like, "What? What the fuck did you just say?" And I'm like, if you guys are chill, you will get a cake pop and a chocolate milk." And they're like, "Ah!" Losing their minds in the back, and they're like, "We'll do whatever you say." Um, Again, I only do that when I, like, really have to, like, go to the store. It's mainly when I have to go to, like, multiple stores. It's transition periods are, like, the worst for them. So if during a transition period, they can have something that's, like, distracting them to where they're not having a meltdown and they're like, "Oh my god, we have to go to another store," um, then yeah, hell yeah, I'll lose it. Hell yeah, I'll lose it. Hell yeah, I'll use it. And then if I don't, I'll lose it. God, I'm losing it now. Okay. The last one I have for you is not necessarily something that I thought about before having kids, but it's definitely like a story that you hear and you're like, "Oh god, I would not do that. That's disgusting." And that is catching throw up in your hands. Yeah. Yeah, that one was gnarly. It was not good because I personally would rather deal with poop all day, all day over vomit. Just thinking about it makes me gag. I do not like it. But the other night, my husband had to go into our younger daughter's room to try to get her to sleep. He ends up falling asleep in there. I fell asleep in our bed, and I'm like on his side of the bed, and I feel like I'm dead asleep until I hear in real life a whimper. It was just this little like I opened my eyes to seeing her standing over me, just, looking down, and I'm like, "Buddy, what's wrong?" And then I see her whole body, like, kinda lurch. From a dead sleep, I went from completely asleep to putting my hands out and just catching as much as I could, um, and that was at, like, 3:30 in the morning. I'm convinced we had that, like, parasite thing, and I went to my pediatrician, and she was like, "Sounds more viral. We can test for it, but I'm gonna need a stool sample." And I'm like, "How am I supposed to get that?" I'm gonna be honest, like, I know I said I would rather deal with poop. If I can avoid it, if you're telling me this is not the parasite that's affected, like, most of the US and all the berries and the lettuce that we consume didn't make us sick, then sure. I'll take that it's viral. But no, sifting through my child's poop to give to their doctor, I'll do it if I have to. Yeah. Do I want to necessarily? No. No, I'm okay. But yeah, those are all the things that I thought I would never do as a mother. Some of them I had thought about long before and others I kinda just made up on the fly, and then as they got older, I'm like, "Oh, no. Yeah, that's okay. We can definitely be wrong sometimes." So, yeah, who knew that motherhood isn't about becoming the parent that you imagined, but it's more about just becoming the parent that your kids actually need in the moment, because it's somewhere between catching vomit with your bare hands and listening to Frozen for the bajillionth time. My biggest takeaway from all of that is just presence over perfection. So, yeah, that's all I got for you tonight. Thanks for yapping with me. Um, I'm gonna go to bed. So, good night. Thanks for listening. Love you all. Let's keep talking.